Commissioner, order, if you rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have the roll call.
Righty, roll call. We have Commissioner Weiler,
Present.
Commissioner Cohen,
Present.
Vice Chair Romo,
Present.
Chairman Span,
Present.
Commissioner McNair,
Present.
Commissioner Garcia,
Present.
Commissioner Watson,
Present.
and we have Mike McGinnis sitting in for Adam Phillips, City Attorney's Office.
Present, thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes since in the last meeting? We have moved, we have seconded. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor? Yes. Take a hand vote.
Thank you, guys.
You can still. 7. Okay, do we have any written communications?
Yes, thank you, Chair. There are 3 correspondences that were distributed to the Commission. The group of 2 items relate to agenda item G1. That's the one public hearing item that we have this evening. Correspondence received from Olivia Borak Boyden. And the other correspondence is distributed from staff annotating recommended or suggested modifications to conditions of approval for that item, which will also be covered during staff's presentation. The third correspondence is related to the business item, current business item on the Climate Action Plan update, and its correspondence from the Sierra Club.
Thank you. How about future neighborhood meetings?
None to report.
Oral communication. Does anybody wish to speak about something that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to open the public hearing. Before we open it, does anybody have anything to disclose about it? Okay, modification to a conditional use permit.
Yes, item G1 is a modification to a conditional use permit for California Metal Service located on Mission Road. It's requested to expand the metals processing facility and operations onto an adjacent parcel that they own. Actually, the staff report indicated that CMS owns the property. It's actually owned by Triple J, and CMS is associated with it. So it's still owned under one ownership, all 3 parcels in the staff report. The request includes construction of a new 7,000 square foot metal building to address some of the operational code issues that I'll get to further in the staff report, and that will help to alleviate many of the ongoing issues regarding stormwater and code compliance with the project. The project also will include a new outdoor active loader to speed up the loading process, which will address some of the human issues they have with their large trucks waiting and entering on site and causing some issues out onto Mission Road. It will also allow them to move the materials upon that site much quicker. It alleviates some of the outdoor stormwater and processing issues that they had. They also include additional parking areas to support both of the proposed uses. They want to get approval of a CRV, or recycling facility for the public that they've been operating on the site. Also install an above-ground diesel fuel tank and several stormwater improvements to address the ongoing stormwater issues and general stormwater permit permit issues. They also include additional landscaping for the project to help screening of the site as seen from highway 78. I'd like to note, this is the first time you've seen, I think it's the first or the second time, you've seen the planning commission in a new format. One of the changes is that the resolution is attached with the report, so now you get to see the entire resolution. And the graphics are actually attached as an exhibit to the resolution. So it might be confusing for some people looking at this online, where they expect to see the graphics up front. Now they're embedded into the resolution of the staff report. And we'll continue to monitor that to make sure it's convenient and appropriate for the public where all the graphics are stored online in the future. With that, just a quick overview of the project site. This is the 3 parcels, or subject parcels, in question here. This is the existing location of California Metal Service in the original Mission District. It's on Mission Road, and this is Highway 78 to the north. Nordal is the cross street on the west, and the highway interchange on the east here. You can see that California Metals was conditioned to operate a metals processing facility on this parcel only, approximately 1.27 acres. However, their operations have outgrown their physical site, and they've encroached more onto the adjacent parcel over here that also is under the same ownership. This third parcel here also is owned by Triple J, but it is leased by auto body and truck repair and finishing facility that uses this site here. There is also a large paint in the back that is not used by CMS. It is leased for use by the auto repair. Since it's large enough to paint semi-tractor trailers or RVs in that facility. This is the current view from Mission Road looking north of State a few days ago. You can see the design and color of the buildings. This was designed with the original CUP in 2008, where the applicant installed an 8-foot-high masonry wall along the front. There's metal rolling gates to block views from the street when they're not in operation. You can see some of the storage materials in the back here. When I was here shooting the picture, they actually had a large semi-tractor trailer loaded up to move materials off this site. You can see here, this is the building that currently is housing the CRB operations. This is the office building and storage, main office and storage. And this building currently used for processing of metals in CRB. These are 2 views from Highway 78 looking south towards the project site. You can see the views into the property. All this landscaping is actually in the Caltrans right away. So we commissioned the project to provide additional landscaping on our site to provide screening views in from Highway 78. And also to, as I'll get into further, to help enhance the view and block and address the mass and scale of the new large building that will be placed in this area right here. The original CUP for the project was approved in 2008 on this approximately 1.27 acre property, and it authorized metal processing only. And the difference between that and CRB was CMS processed metal from end users where they had torn down buildings, or they were manufacturers that had excess metal. They would provide the bins for them. CMS would go out and pick up those bins, bring them back here, sort them, compact them as necessary, or load them in larger trucks to be sent to end of recycling users. It wasn't anticipated to have public CRB, but they would take small occasional loads of those types of materials, metal beams, used metal from smaller suppliers or from the public, but not for redemption value of cans, bottles, paper, or plastic. This area also included an area of outdoor screening that would be blocked by the building. All processing materials was intended to be done indoors. You can have outdoor loading and some outdoor staging. That's kind of morphed into the actual dumping of the large loads of metal on the ground, where they would sort them, load them into tractor trailers, and move them outside. However, that has led to some of the stormwater issues where rain events or other events, you've got the certain materials that run off from that metal that will get into, and the metal shavings also will get into the storm drain system and affect the storm drain and stormwater quality, which has also got state involved in the general construction permit. The number one issue with the site, and we've been working with the applicant, code enforcement attorney's office, environmental programs and engineering, is address the number one issue with the site, which has been the stormwater quality issue first. That was the biggest issue. This CUP was born out of the need to accommodate the expanded use of the facility, also expand onto the adjacent site, get approval of the existing uses that weren't approved with the original CUP, and construct that new building and AccuLoader system and other on-site systems, which would be the long-term solution to address the stormwater issues. The immediate solution, and they worked with the city attorney's office, is they're temporarily using their adjacent property to properly store those materials to avoid stormwater issues in bins that are properly covered in rain events, which addresses that in the short term. This now is the long-term solution. Build those permanent facilities to take care of this problem as they move on and perhaps grow in the city. Other issues have been ongoing property maintenance, housekeeping, conformance with the sign ordinance, making sure all the signs meet the sign code for the number and area of that. We're still working with them regarding those issues, and operation to be consistent with the original CUP and ultimately with this new CUP. This is the current site, and here are some of the main components here. This building here is a covered, it's not enclosed, but it's a covered facility. They're currently using that to house storage. It crosses both property lines, and they've been using this to store their materials underneath this area and large areas of this area for their bins and outdoor storage. In the blue shows where that metals and the pile gets larger, it gets smaller, was sitting on the ground, creating code compliance issues, CUP conformance issues, and storm water issues. There's also an old Quonset hut type facility here that's supposed to be moved along with this facility. This is the area where the new building will be constructed. This structure here currently is where the CRV operations are. The proposed plan includes, like indicated, the installation of a new 7,000 square foot building. And we had a question earlier for Commissioner Watson about how the stormwater would work for this building. Actually, to not trigger a priority project and to address stormwater requirements from scratch on the site, the building will just install new foundations for it, but leave the floor so they don't remove more than 5,000 square feet of impervious surfaces. So that's the plan for that. So only the foundation structures for that metal will impact the existing ground. The floor of the facility will remain the same. With the project along this elevation in green, they'll be installing raised planters as part of the stormwater system, which will drain into those areas. It also allows for additional tall trees and other plant materials to help screen views into the facility from Highway 78 and kind of buffer that massive scale from that large building from Highway 78. They'll also be installing a new wing wall from the building. It's tall as the building, but it will be recessed in to kind of break up that large massive scale. And that approximately 38 foot tall wing wall will have the same materials and architecture look as the structure, but it will screen those who use it from Highway 78 to the AccuLoader and some of the outdoor storage. It will also include a landscape planner in front of that. The existing metal building here and the paint booth and canopy also will include additional raised planters with landscaping to further screen views into the site. The AccuLoader system, and you can see it here on the right, is an outdoor system. And how that works, you can see this crane structure. After they process the material, so trucks will come in and offload materials on the floor inside the building, to keep it out of the stormwater issues and then be able to manage those maintenance and stormwater issues more closely. They will deposit that material on the floor. It will be sorted and then either taken to this existing building for processing, baling, crushing, sorting. Other materials will be loaded into a new outdoor metal holding facility, which if anything runs off or there's any pollutants on that metal, it'll be captured in that enclosed system. So we'll never touch the floor or the asphalt again. At there, they'll have an outdoor crane which picks it up and loads it into this system here, which will then push that into either the back of a semi-tractor or a large roll-up bin. And it just takes that, and once you load that, it like a compactor, like on a trash truck, just push that right in, which significantly speeds up the loading process for the facility and makes it more efficient. In this area here, they'll be installing an above-ground storm water system to treat the stormwater runoff from the site. They're also working with engineering in our environmental programs divisions because the site accepts stormwater from the materials processing plant just north of the self-storage facility. That runoff goes through this property. And if they commingle it with their treated site, then they have to filter that or treat that material. So they are working on a plan to perhaps bypass that treatment, and so it outlets into its downstream facilities. They don't have to treat the upstream stormwater unless they commingle it with their treated water. So they're currently working with the engineering divisions in our environmental programs division on the final design for this, and the conditions of approval that are modified, and I'll get to those at the last screen, address those so they have options on how they will treat that facility in the most efficient and cost-effective for their facility. This is the design of the new structure. It will be a metal structure similar to the other ones on the site, painted a medium gray to help it blend in with the background. It will contain these upper story windows to allow light in, but also to break up that larger massive scale of the building seen from the freeway. It includes these raised planters approximately 2 feet high, and its conditions provide tall columnar type plants to help screen the building and the lower plant materials in there. These are the side views, and this is that wing wall that will be recessed back from the facility to provide additional screening into the site. With that, staff is recommending modification to several of the conditions on page 27 under your planning conditions. There was a typo in that condition that referenced the hearing date as 2017, it's actually 2018. Also, the hours of operation will be from 6 o'clock to 6 p.m., which mirrors the previous conditions of approval. We included a sunset to sundown, but during certain times it gets darker earlier, and they need to finish out at 6 o'clock, which is their normal operating hours. So we changed that to reflect that. We wanted to control late night hours of operation. We didn't have outdoor processing for evening hours, which may have impacts to certain process. Engineering conditions on page 30 were general condition number 3, grading condition number 1, and drainage condition number 3. You can see in crossed out or in bold and underlined the language that has been included to address the stormwater drainage final design and requirements that have been lined out to more clarify what the requirements are for the project. With that, staff is recommending approval of the modification to the CUP subject to the conditions of approval as modified or recommended for modification and adoption of the environmental determination, which the project is subject to a categorical exception in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act. That staff.
Thank you. Does anybody on the commission have any questions to say to that?
Great presentation, James. A couple of questions. Are there, does the applicant, I made a few notes, is there any lingering impact from previous, I guess, downstream discharges to the stormwater system from anything they've done in the past?
Maybe I should hand it over to Owen to perhaps tackle some of those or answer some of those questions.
As far as lingering, I'm not, I think our environmental programs department or the applicant might be able to address that. Engineering is working with them, going forward on correcting the site and treating the stormwater.
Thank you. And then I'm not sure, maybe Mr. Tunnell, maybe this goes back to you, but are there any open or pending cases, related to environmental conditions? Have they been? Is there anything pending out there right now against the applicant?
I'll answer that. There are ongoing code enforcement and enhanced enforcement actions currently ongoing with the project. We're working with the applicant in our attorney's office to ensure compliance. They are under order to do certain things within a certain amount of time. One of those is to obtain the CUP to address the long-term issues. As indicated before, they have an agreement with the city right now for the short-term use of the off-site site to store those materials, to immediately address the lingering stormwater issues and water quality, and specifically compliance with the state general permit. Nettles and other materials that are leaving that site that significantly affect the stormwater quality. And without addressing those, the applicant and the city is subject to action, I'd say, regarding that. That's the first thing we want to avoid, and continually monitoring that to address that, to make sure they're moving forward with compliance and eventually install the appropriate facilities on site for the long-term needs of that.
And then I was going to ask also, you answered my question with the building and the 5,000 square feet of impervious surface, so that was a help. I was a little curious when in the report it talked about they occasionally accept loads of materials from limited public customers. But I was curious how to reconcile that with a visit to their website, to CMS's website. On the opening page, they mentioned that they serve 50,000 public customers a month. I'm not sure when those are juxtaposed, how to reconcile that.
That is one of the ongoing code compliance issues.
Oh.
The original CUP, and you had indicated from the report was, or the previous one was the limited loads from the public. That would be for if they weren't going out and providing bins. You might have a bigger truckload or a larger truckload that would come in with those large metal recycling pieces, not the cans, metal cans and so forth. These would be larger truckloads that they would accept the public. But that generally was supposed to be occasional. In the interim, they have introduced a CRB, public CRB operation. So with the CUP, that would authorize that to continue on site.
Sort of legalize it.
Would legalize it.
Gotcha. Do we know if the applicant still accepts or does accept bulk paper processing for paper for recycling?
I believe you had to probably ask the applicant there.
That's all I got. Jay, thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Paul, again, very good presentation. Thank you. A couple of questions that I have. There's a laundry list of things that need to occur out there, and I understand that the city and the city attorney and code enforcement is working with the applicant. And we're talking about short-term, long-term, but what really are we talking about time-wise on the short-term items? Are we talking a month? Are we talking 12 months? And And then the long-term items to get all this corrective action taken care of, or are we talking years?
No, well, the CUP, they must utilize it within 1 year of the state orders or expire. Pretty cool. However, the short term, it has been ongoing for the last year to immediately address the last rainy season and potential severe regulatory impacts that could be realized by the applicant. So that was immediate, and we had to address that too, because if we're not ensuring compliance, then we're responsible for it also. So that was an immediate goal, was code enforcement, attorney's office, and our environmental programs division to go out there, find out what those issues were, address the on-site water monitoring that was being done, and make sure they were compliant. Come up with a plan. They had to come up with a plan to immediately address those issues, which they had to implement. But that, and it's on ongoing monitoring action to do that. This has finally come to this point where we've got it worked out with the stormwater design, the on-site operations that will meet the code to move forward to institute this will be the long-term program, which they have a year to implement to address the long-term issues.
So does that mean that building permits have to be pulled within 1 year
You're supposed to
for the buildings?
utilize that, which actually means, I look at it, is still submitted for building permits.
Okay.
Through the chair, if I may interpose, there seems to be, in consideration of some of the discussion about the ongoing code enforcement issues and how this project may be ultimately phased for implementation, I do want to point out a new condition that has been inserted for this particular project. It's number 23 on page 29. And it states, at any time after project implementation, the city may require a notice public hearing to be scheduled before the planning commission to determine if there has been demonstrated a good faith and intent to proceed in reliance on this approval. The condition continues, but the point being that if the existing operation includes the CRV, which is currently in violation of their existing CUP, continues without any demonstrated effort on their part to begin implementation of this, they're clearly in violation, and that's not a good faith effort as what would be prescribed by that condition. So we could return to the planning commission and upon a reasonable amount of time to have that conversation and reevaluate at that time. So in addition to the ongoing stormwater infiltration of particulate matter, this is another issue. So the laundry list that you spoke to can be all-inclusive and covered by that single condition to ensure that the city stays on top of the matter.
All right, thank you. Just one other minor question. In the staff report, it does say that the hours of operation may vary as necessary. Does that mean that you're still within the 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. range, and the hours may vary, or are they varying outside that range?
No, we had this discussion earlier with the applicant regarding, and he said the general business operations are from 6 to 6. The CRV operations are within that
Right.
general 6 to 6, usually earlier than that. This is for the employees and the metals operation and the yard clubs. That would be out there. Generally, are from 6 to 6. There'll be some nights when you have some occasionally you may have some late nights where you've got maintenance of equipment that's being done, or some type of dark cleanup or those type of things where processing is not happening. But they'll still have people on the site to address whatever issues are going on.
No, I understand. Sometimes things happen, a load shows up late, you still have to deal with it and get it taken care of.
We've got to get it in, or a truck needs to stage for the next morning and do that. General operations, generally 6 to 6. Now I'm just working the applicant to provide some more information.
All right, I think that concludes my question.
So I'm still a little confused about the last issue in regards to compliance.
Right now, their objective is to manage and maintain the current CRD business, and that's why we're going through this process.
That's one of the reasons.
Stormwater and all that's all engaged in that. The applicants were desirous to keep that CRD business going. When do they have to have that 7,000 square foot building finished or started or permitted or something? Because they could pull permit in 11 months. Dilly down around for 11 more months. And build. We're talking 36 months before the building's actually done. And that's the big question is to me, is when are we getting that junk better managed and maintained with stormwater and everything else, so it starts to go away from the city compliance? Is that addressed in this, because I didn't see where, other than the 12 months?
It's got the 12 months to utilize it, but the commission felt it necessary that they could clarify the operation performance process for CMS stuff.
I just got to know where that's at. And I know that's going on for years before they actually have that operation.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions of city staff?
Could I just address your last comment? One of the other pressure points that we have is the criminal complaint that was filed by our office last March resulted in a stipulated judgment. So we have a judgment, we have a court with jurisdiction over the matter. So to the extent we find that we're not getting compliance in the time frame that we think is reasonable, we can go back to the court and seek relief from the court to find contempt on the stipulated judgment or use the court power to assist us. So that's one other pressure.
If I might ask you one other question, as far as the pressure points, is that monetary?
It can be. To the extent the court wishes to use monetary sanction as a method of getting compliance, it's one.
Well, all we're looking for is for them to get this moving, and so.
And that's all we are as well. Where our interest is not one that's monetary driven, but compliance.
Thank you. Any other questions to staff? Okay. I have 3 public speaker requests here. We're going to start with Patricia Borkman. I'm not going to put the timer on, but if you try to keep your comments fairly brief. And if you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, thanks. My name is Patricia Borschman. My address is 1141 Carroll Glen in Escondido. Thank you. I'm concerned about the timing, and I appreciate all the thoughtful questions by the commissioners regarding stormwater and lingering issues that we all hope to be addressed. I'm concerned that traffic issues have not been discussed. I don't think that they were covered extensively in the staff report, but on this location on Mission Avenue in such close proximity to Nordall is a concern for me because I know that Nordall is, an intersection with Highway 78 that is a failure of service. What I would like is to see if, after 3 minutes, if Owen can talk about the levels of service on Nordall and the freeway interchanges and the impacts, and actually the service levels on Mission Avenue that should be described. So I'm concerned about traffic impacts. I'm also concerned that I heard a response to your question, Commissioner Watson. You had some concerns about saying that the expectation is that we'll have 50,000 customers per month. What does that do to not only the traffic impacts on this small section of Mission Avenue, but to the overall, and now, traffic conditions from Nordall and impacts to a larger picture. My second comment is I'm concerned about the appearance of West Escondido. This is the main entrance to Escondido, and I think it's it's been neglected. It's like the armpit of, Escondido, all the commuters coming to Escondido, that's what we see first. I think it should be treated as a gateway, and I know that I-15 has formally developed design standards and real specific design criteria to demand and specify expectations about upgraded architecture, upgraded landscaping, upgraded, high-scale uses to maintain property values and the retail, vitality of those important intersections on I-15. I know that that's in one extreme, but I think, just because this is the industrial section of Escondido, I don't think it should be overlooked. And I think that Escondido's, the west end of Escondido needs to be upgraded. And I think this commission has the authority and, the duty to, look at opportunities, to make those kinds of upgrades. And an idea I have, I don't expect it to be applied here, but in the future, what I would like to see is a possibility of future thinking or brainstorming about developing an area plan, like specific time, like they do for like Southwest Boulevard, area plans, and develop some ways to upgrade this portion of this studio. So I think it's really neglected, and that's what people see first when they come to this studio from college.
Thank you. When we have our discussion, we'll talk about traffic. Wayne Rosenbaum?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Wayne Rosenbaum, environmental law group at CMS. I'm going to try and wear two hats here for a few moments and see if I can't answer some of your questions. I'm going to wear my lawyer hat, and I'm also going to wear my state certified qualified industrial stormwater professional hat. And so let me see if I can go through these real quickly. Downstream, no impacts. No measured impacts by anybody at this point in time. We are, at this point, fully in compliance with our industrial general stormwater permit. We filed what's called a level 2 report, and assuming the CUP is approved, then we will be installing a state-of-the-art stormwater treatment system that will assure that we not only meet the requirements of the permit, but that we meet the receiving order limitations downstream of the permit. But we need your approval first in order to be able to put equipment. Code enforcement, and your questions about timing. Back in August, we entered into an agreement with the city that provides specific times and goals. Actually, we're going to come up on that first goal in December 31st. And that says by December 31st, we're going to have our CUP, we're going to start commencement. And thereafter, we have 9 months to get our building permits, put this thing and get this thing constructed. Now, there is some wiggle room in there if there's issues in terms of how fast you can get a building permit, or there are other issues beyond our control. But basically, I think we're looking at, client says 6 months, I'm going to tell you 8 months from the time the CUP gets approved before we're fully installed. Customers, we made a mistake. It is not 50,000 per month. It is 50,000 annually. Okay. No, we never get 50,000 people in and out every month. No, we do not accept. We're no longer accepting bulk paper. And we hope that the appearance if this is approved will be very nice. It's certainly as nice as anything else along that section of Mission. Those are my comments to you, and if you have questions of me, I'm available. If not, thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Bruce Tewitt?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Bruce Tate, and I'm Aston Associates at 200 East Washington for Escondido. And I know there's some concerns been raised about the timing of the implementation of some of the items in the amendment to the conditions permit. And in general, one of the conditions that has been placed on this is that the applicant will have a precise grading plan submitted that will show the majority of these improvements on that plan. And another plan is to submit that application for permit pretty quickly. There's no reason to delay that at all, and so that process will take place in the next few months. And that precise grading plan will show the position of the new building, where all the storm drain improvements will go, and the stormwater treatment facilities. All of that will be on the plan reviewed primarily by the engineering department and environmental department of the city. Another concern was the screening, especially from the freeway and the appearance of the entrance into the city. This project is actually going to have a building on the back, a brand new building on the back end of the project near the freeway that will screen out a lot of the operations and unloading and unloading, plus a screen wall and additional landscaping back. One of the conditions of approval is to put in new landscaping as well as to upgrade and maintain all existing landscaping on the site. And as we mentioned, that 50,000 is an annual number, and when compared with the annual traffic on Mission Avenue, it's a fraction of a percent of the traffic on Mission Avenue. So the impact of this project is very slight in terms of overall traffic. Are you happy to answer any other questions you might have?
Could you, if you know the answer to this question, but how many trucks, how many like transfer trucks or whatever you want to call them, are coming in and out of there on a daily basis on average?
I'd have to leave that up to the owner and operator. Can I answer? If you want to specifically ask that question.
If you'd state your name and address for the record, please.
Robert Chavez, 1428 West Mission Road, President and CEO, CNS Recycling. Only like 2 to 4 transfer trucks as far as those containers that we ship out. And the reason of the additions of back loaders that we're looking to address the traffic issue is to be able to load them. Now the time it takes a bit longer, about an hour and a half. For this system, it should take about 30 minutes. So streamlining and getting them in and after our public hours, so it's not creating any extra traffic that sometimes happens at the moment. And again, just touch on 50,000. I wasn't even employed. It's a new website, and we had numbers up monthly, and we changed them annually, but he didn't change that number to monthly. We just discussed that last week. So definitely not 50,000, per month. It's like 4,400 is about our average public customers.
And then, so nobody's backing up, the trucks aren't backing up and out onto Mission. I mean, are they?
No, the way they enter in, they actually pull forward out. At the time they pull to the median and we back them in. At the moment, with stop sign and the whole thing. But the idea with these new changes is we get them in before and after any kind of real busy time. And so they will really make it a lot more efficient.
So now it's actually, they come up and they back into the facility?
Correct.
And in the future, when these improvements are completed, they'll come in one side and go out the other? Or
no, they'll still come into that direction. They'll just back up and it loads it in, and they pull on the scale and they go directly out. There will still be a backing process, but we do have that median right there on Mission for them to set up, and then come out. There may be when it's done enough room for them to turn around, but that's a 40-foot, container truck, 60-foot is a little tight. The drive-through is only for fire access. We have all trucks come in and out one direction, and that's theft and security reasons that we're not a drive-through.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, so I've witnessed I drive by your facility every morning. And I've been part of the backing in of trucks. Sometimes it's a train wreck, sometimes it's not. Is there still going to be only room for one truck in there at a time? Because I have seen it where there are 2 in the median and one's backing in while one's waiting.
There will be room for 2, and then just to touch on that with the new process, then we stage them. We do schedule them hours apart. but you can't tell them when to show up. It only takes till they 10 to 10 minutes. We ask them to not do that, and we have them go wait, off-site underneath the bridge because of that issue. But the idea is that we don't, the scheduling, it won't take as long. We get them in and out soon to show, there won't be that process. You're right at times. Unfortunately, they're not on our trucks, it's a transport company.
Well, no,
we try to schedule throughout the day, but they show up at one time.
Are you in charge of backing them in, or is it completely up to the driver? The only reason I ask the question is because that's what causes the only traffic that your facility produces.
They're supposed to pull, they're not green lighted to just back in because it's not that kind of facility. They're supposed to get out, come let us know they're there, and then we bring them in. Is supposed to be the process.
Is there a way we can make sure that that is the process?
We tell the transport company, now we're consistent, unless they try to send a random driver, and usually they only do that if it's super early, like at 6, 7, because the public's not open, there's not as much going on, or doors open, but midday, there's no chance of that. But we do our best, and absolutely are trying to impact everything.
Honestly, that's the only traffic I've ever seen in your facility produces. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for coming in and speaking tonight. Just for the record, it is on your website.
No, yeah, I know.
And you acknowledge that.
Yes,
it might be a thing you'd look at and perhaps adjust.
It's been discussed. We've already got emails to the website because we just changed. It's a new website.
Heck of a time to have that number 50,000.
As I just looked at it, I'm like, really? Again, that's not a ploy. We don't do that. It's just the data information.
One other thing, I wonder if you could contrast, present or current times for in and outs, the turn times for the trucks versus what you anticipate them to be.
Current times for those, are we talking about those larger trucks?
For loading up the, 40 yarders?
Yeah, those take about 2 hours right now, and it'll take about 30 minutes.
Oh, so it's significant.
It's very significant, yeah. Because we can't load this, with that accurate system, we can be preloaded. So without any trucks coming in, they come in and just push it in. They stay 15 minutes. I'm just doing 30 with the backup way up, and it scales on and off.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what stops you from doing 8 loads? Since you can do it twice as fast now, or 3 times as fast.
Material supply, we don't have that much. You need the way the material is staged inside the building.
Okay.
And in and out. I mean, there will be extra materials in the building. Like I said, just due to the time frame, we wouldn't be able to ship more than 4 a day, just due to the other processes and things that we have going on.
Based on the capacity of your
facility. Correct. And all the operations that take place.
And for Mr. Tate, can you have a precise grading plan done in 90 days?
You can have one submitted in less than that, and if everything goes well, it can be done in less than 90 days.
Completed. You can have one submitted in what time frame?
We could have it done in 30 days.
So if we conditioned it to be done in 60 days, that would be within your means?
That's going to have to be cooperation between us and the city, so both parties.
Well, submitted, I'm sorry, submitted, just submitted at that point.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, I just wanted to follow up with clarification and additional information on the access to the trucks. On one of the sheets of the conditional use permit site plan, there's yet another method for us to get in and out, and that it's also an emergency access route on the property to the southeast side, directly out of Mission and Exchange. Right in that area where Jay's pointing out right now is a loop, part of a loop that will provide emergency access and also truck access if things get back up in the main entrance. And there's going to be an agreement between the property owners that will maintain that access as long as the business is in operation.
Well, I guess that was kind of pertaining to my question about how the trucks come in and out, because if it's the same owner on both properties, although it's leased to somebody else, the trucking company there, and you have to maintain an open fire lane, that's the part that I don't understand why we can't have trucks come in one side, come onto the site, make the loop, and if they've got to back up, at least all that backing is occurring on-site instead of out on Mission Road. It's a concern because I've come down Mission Road too, and I've seen, you know, trucks backing in there, and it stops the flow of traffic. Now, granted, in that location, it's not heavy traffic, but it's a concern.
You mentioned trash trucks. Those aren't our trucks. So our trucks, we have state trucks that service our towns, our greater towns. So on that, our trucks access in that area where the building will go, and that's for our trucks. We bring in our material, industrial material, and service ours. The exiting is the going out. So on our way, we bring material in, you know, larger, and then that is just for process loads going out. Those few trucks a day are just going out. So I understand what you're saying. It may very well be possible when this is completed for us to do that loop, or just to bring them in, and then you see where the trucks go, all you have to do is back them and back up. You're absolutely right. I can't say no to that. It very well it will be open and possibly work. It's just not something that we've done right now. So once this takes place, absolutely right.
No, I understand it doesn't seem to be working right now just because of the way the site is set up. I'm just looking off into the future here and what's being proposed, which is really good. You get full fire access around there in case something happens in the back there, because as it is right now, fire truck would have a heck of a time getting back there to deal with whatever could potentially happen. But that was why I was asking the question. It seemed like there should be no reason at all that these bigger transfer trucks should be backing into the facility once you have this fire lane.
And just, if I could just say one more thing, you guys have asked just our intentions are to get this done as fast as possible. This has been going on for 2 years. If it was up to us, it would already be done. You know, this holds us up, this whole problem. We're looking to get on the other side of it. We want to upgrade the facility. We're going to be a better facility once it's done. It has positives for everybody. So we have no intention of delaying or extending it. We want to get this applied. We've already purchased the stormwater system is sitting on site, just waiting for the green light to install. And our intention is to install that first, so that as construction or anything goes on, stormwater, runoff won't be an issue at all. Those are our goals. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you all.
Does anybody else in the audience wish to speak on this? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and ask Commission to debate.
I'll make a quick comment that the more I look at that, Commissioner Weiler, the more puzzled I am as to why that's not a part of this. I like the Sally, Jay, I don't know, is that like a Sally port design or something, in one gate and out the other kind of thing? I mean, gosh, if that's possible, ooh, that seems like the right way to do that piece of business.
I think, when I looked at it, that's sort of what I assumed would be happening, just because it's a clear fire lane. It's got to be kept clear all the time. You can't have vehicles parked there. You can't have materials parked there. Nothing. It has to be kept clear. So to me, I just assumed that would be a part of the operations when these larger trucks come in. That they come in one side and out the other without having to do any maneuvering out in the public right of way. And that's my real concern. Your operations on site and how you maneuver your vehicles, that's on site. That's frankly an internal operational matter. But when it gets out into the public right of way, that is where I have the biggest concern. And if we can have some surety that once the building is constructed, the fire lane is striped, that operationally wise, the larger trucks are required to come in one side and go out the other without having a backup maneuver on mission. I think that would be a good thing for not only the applicant, but the community as a whole. So those are my thoughts on it.
Can a truck make that turn? Right, yeah, but when you're talking about a loop, which way they're going to come in, can you make the turn around that corner?
fire truck.
Through the chair, if I may.
That's longer than a fire truck.
Yes.
So the turn radius is designed to support the fire apparatus, and those are a lot smaller in length than the hauler trucks that are being referenced here. So it very well may be possible that something can be accommodated, and it sounds like the applicant's interested in exploring that opportunity. But for the purposes of this discussion, I would assume that the operation as described by the applicant backing into the site is what would occur as a worst-case scenario. And then to assist in understanding the potential impacts of multiple hauler trucks queuing within the right-of-way, there is a special condition that was also added to this project that states that no employee may store or permit to be stored a personal vehicle, truck, or other personal property in the public right-of-way or other public right-of-way without permission of the city engineer. And again, the condition continues, but at least there will be some oversight of that queuing or stacking, and if there is continuing violations, that's something that we could bring back to the planning commission to reconsider or recondition the conditional use permit.
I have a question for Owen. It was brought up about the traffic impact. It's good news that that figure was a yearly figure, not a monthly figure. That certainly puts it in the realm of not being a problem, as far as I'm concerned. Have we looked into any kind of impacts on traffic with the expected increase in business?
I think the way, it was presented to us and the way we're handling it is just to bring into compliance what's occurring there. Not an intensification of the use. And so, I don't think, impacts were not really looked at if there were whatever that works out to 140 a day trips for the recycling, that would generally give you peak hour 14 trips for peak hour. And with Mission being you wouldn't consider it an impact until, your daily, you wouldn't, your ADT, you wouldn't consider it an impact until it reached 250, I believe. So they're at 140. If you took all their trips, as if those are new to the project.
Thank you. I know I've been in this facility, and as cramped as it is, you still get in and out. And I see it as an improvement with the additional parking that's going to be in there. Certainly understand the traffic concern, but I don't see that this as being an impact. Even the trucks backing up, I've been stopped a couple of times, and it's never that big a deal. I'm from Chicago, and you don't go 5 miles without waiting for it to stop, without being stopped for a train. And that train will take anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes that you sit there and watch cars go by. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of problems that go along with industry, and that's just something we have to deal with.
The truck staging, in a median like that, we do, as if complaints arise, which I think from the general public we haven't had them on this, but if they do, it's something we do occasionally bring to the Traffic Commission. We've done it in the auto park and some other areas where, and we try to work with the businesses first, but in some cases, we've had to, put signage up or otherwise. So it's something we do monitor, and it does come up. I'm not aware of it coming to us from the general public in this location, but with the conditions that have been placed on this project, and then just with what we have available to us now, we could deal with it.
I'm comfortable with the conditions that are in there. I feel like we've got teeth to come back if there's a problem. They're saying that they can get this done quick. If we have a wet winter, I'd like to see that storm water treatment in effect. I think that we need to move forward with this. Anybody want
I think that building's an improvement. I just got to tell you, looking at the back of that building versus looking at what you got going on right now, That's going to be a huge improvement. It will be something because there's a lot of other lots beside you that have a lot of business going on. It's not that attractive. I think that is a great improvement for that portion of it. I think I want to see it done right away. I don't want to have you get your stormwater done and say, okay, we're close enough and we'll deal with the other junk later. That's what I'm concerned about because that gets you back into sort of compliance. And I don't want that not to occur because I'll be super disappointed. I don't know if a truck can actually make that radius of the backside of the lot there. If it can, that would be awesome. I think it would alleviate everybody's concerns, but that's a pretty type of corner you got there. When you're trying to bend it with your existing buildings, you'd probably have to give up some parking spaces up by your detention basin over there. Get that thing to be able to swing wide enough. I don't know. I'm not a driver, but I've seen a lot of those guys try to get through there. I do want to see if there's a way that we can have something submitted within 60 to 90 days that says this is what's going to happen. And not be messing around with this is going to be, I got 9 months to dilly-dally on this thing. Time frame is, and you've all acknowledged your time frame is important. So let's put something there that helps them be motivated to get that accomplished for us and get everybody into compliance because the city's at this point liable as well on inspections and all that.
Do you want to make a motion and incorporate a 90-day?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit in the application and to include a 90-day condition for having a precise grading plan submitted to the city of Escondido.
I'll second the motion by Commissioner Roll.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Let's do a hand vote. All in favor? Seven yes votes to modify a conditional use permit, PHG 170002, with the stipulation that they have a 90-day limit to file precise grading. That concludes the current business. H1, climate action status update.
Visuals are fairly important for presentations, so we're going to wait a few minutes. Ready? Planning Commission. My name is Mike Strong, Assistant Planning Director of the Planning Division, and this is the ongoing study of the climate action plan update effort. As you know, the staff has been presenting on a regular basis on the status and progress being made on updating the climate action plan. The scope of that effort, to summarize with brevity, is to update the baseline of greenhouse gas emissions with newer data, to project out to different horizon years to account for recent changes in state law, review and update the existing reduction emission measures, and then also to update how the city goes about implementing and monitoring those so that the climate action plan can be an effective planning tool. The goals of the update are to involve and encourage public participation. As anticipated to be about a one-year process. That's commenced during the summer. Understand the expected climate change effects on the city, so there's a component of education and awareness, not only with city staff that will be implementing the measures, administering the climate action plan, but also the public that will be helping shape what those measures involve. And then to identify adaptive strategies for the living sectors, and ultimately to create an enforceable document that can help streamline future deployment and recycling. The commissioner's role in the process has been primarily to date a rolling series of these informational meetings. This helps the commission be fully informed of and understand the complexities of climate action planning and how that will be locally administered through the climate action plan update process, but it also expands the public participation. So instead of just having one public meeting or hearing the conclusion of the process, having an open forum for the public to attend and speak on the matter presented or just the process in general helps solicit input. And then ultimately, the Planning Commission will be tasked with providing the recommendation on the updated climate action plan in the spring next year. So this is the fourth meeting in that rolling series of meetings. We have 8 scheduled, which also includes the conclusion of the process in the spring with public hearings. Tonight's meeting is to report back on the first days of outreach. What was originally intended to be a 2-month engagement effort was extended to about 5 months of engagement activities due to opportunities to broaden the outreach exposure and to solicit new input. So the outreach plan itself was presented to the Planning Commission in May 8th, 2018. That was one of the kickoff meetings of this rolling series of meetings. That outreach plan was also adopted by the City Council in the summer of this year. The outreach plan really identifies several measures to solicit input as part of the awareness effort. One is using existing networks, so these are the existing organizations and community groups within the community for the city of Escondido. And that's an opportunity to really take leverage of those networks that are established to help communicate what we're doing and why we're important. The other is going to where people are, so having mobile workshops or pop-up events to reach out to people that traditionally would not attend a public hearing or a public meeting such as this, or a blended event, public workshop. And this also creates multiple levels and forms of engagement, so it's more convenient to the participant, and also creating different modes of collecting input. So regarding promoting the project awareness, this presents a summary of everything that the city had conducted over the last 5 months. Everything from press releases and news article coverage and op-eds, print run ad displays, and local newspaper, flyers electronically distributed to different community groups, so the membership will receive them, using Facebook, e-newsletter, or e-blast, having message sign displays at City Hall, attending and passing out flyers at Cruise and Grand, and attending board commission for presentations, in addition to the traditional public workshop and other local workshops. So this tabulator traffic data presents a summary of all those activities, covering from the first activity in May, concluding October 25th. So the 5 months of activities show how the city's efforts materialized and reached different audiences. Second column to the right is the electronic print reach. So this doesn't really include in-person face time, but is distributing material or either online or through email blast or registering different groups to distribute flyers electronically. So you can see the electronic print reach is the total number of recipients if it was known at the time of that distribution. So some of the higher profile ones will be releasing the flyer to the Escondido Library Group. That's over 18,000 individuals. But then there are also smaller events such as attending Cruise Brand and actually passing out flyers. So those that column represents the reach of awareness, identifying that there is a project in process. The far right column is the in-person reach of people where there was a little bit more hard conversation about the project. Some included soliciting input opportunities, which are probably towards the later half of this spreadsheet, whereas the beginning front end of it would be more presentation related and discussion items. So, for example, the May Planning Commission presentation on the outreach plan, in addition to the commission being present with key members in the audience. So that was clearly a presentation where no effort was made to collect input. But the last entry, for example, the neighborhood leadership group meeting, that was a staff facilitated presentation and encouraging leading people through the actual exercise. So to kind of summarize the collective efforts of retrieving the input, at the public workshop, which was held on July 30th, there was 50 people in attendance, 44 people signed in. At the mobile workshops, there were 6 different events, mainly comprising of community groups, but also industry groups such as the Chamber of Commerce and the Building Industry Association. There were 122 people total at those 6 events. The total submissions, so the actual input data that was received, were 43 total passports. That was like a survey paper questionnaire. There's 21 of those collected at the July 30th workshop and 22 from the mobile workshops. And then there's also worksheets that were collected, which I'll explain later what those are. There were 42. And then in addition to that, at the July 30th public workshop, there was a dot exercise, which I'll get into presentation cover as well. All the individual surveys that were collected through these efforts and all the worksheets are posted online and are also included in the November 28th City Council staff report. The hallmark and keystone event was that July 30th public workshop. That was the most advertised. That's the biggest event. That's traditionally the form of outreach that we conduct for most planning processes. It started with a staff presentation. There was a brief questions and answers among audience members in a group setting. And then the group participants were essentially dismissed where they could go into individual stations with their informational boards, ask questions from the staff or consultant representative staged at that station board. And then at the conclusion of making the round of different informational boards participating in 2 exercises. One was a dot exercise and the other was a passport survey. And so the dot exercise was conducted on large phone cord boards. These were displayed along the perimeter of the room, and each participant was given a series of dots, green, yellow, red. Green indicates support, yellow for cautious or concerned, and red as in opposition. As shown, most of the participants utilized the green dots, and only a few people utilized the yellow and red. But this generally shows the distribution of the dots. The next slide. Ensuing will, or a couple slides will show the actual source of that collected There was also the passport collected, and there was 2 primary questions at the front end of that survey. The first question was, climate action planning is important in Escondido, asking the participants to rank from 1 to 5, being strongly agree, 1 is strongly disagree, what the individual thought as preference. The average score of those participating in the workshop was 4.8, which really indicates those that were attending the workshop strongly agreed that climate action planning is important. Question number 2, Escondido residents and businesses are willing to pay for the costs associated with implementing these measures. Again, ranking between 1 and 5, and again, the average score was agreed or above agreed strongly. So the people in attendance at the workshop did strongly support climate action planning in general, and also felt that the residents and businesses were willing to pay for it. The reason that these questions were asked is because some of the measures that will be contemplated will translate to actual user costs, whether it is on an individual homeowner or a taxpayer. Mobile workshop, which not only involves different sectors, including resident groups, but also some business groups, were asked the same questions, and on average, we were similar with question 1. Agreeing that climate action planning was important, not as strong as what was collected at this workshop, but still agreed. Question 2 is where we saw some departure and some difference in preferences. And the average score was 2.85, which is recognizing that some of the costs may impact other people differently. So it's something to keep in mind as we look at the results of the aggregated worksheet exercise results and actually see that there is some relationship between how these results relate to the final results of the preferences of those worksheets of the exercises. So when combining the aggregated totals for the past lists and responses and averaging and weighting for all participants, the average score is 4.42 and average score is 3.45. So it does show that there is a preference among all sectors and all those that participated in that climate action planning is important, but some caution to whether or not particular measures may bear costs on residents and businesses. So the results from the dot tally exercise and worksheets, I'm going to go through what the results are of the attachment 2 and attachment 3. The City Council November 20 staff report includes the full description of both of those. But it essentially will show on the dot exercise results the number of green dots, yellow dots, or red dots that were received for each strategy, focus area, or typical policies in action. And then attach the worksheet results, which is attachment 3 to the council report. Shows 2 things. It shows if there was a tally, if there was a group response, which means if the overall strategy focus area received a response, or if the individual marked a specific example of typical policies in action. So both would have to be considered in weight equally aggregated results. So the purpose of aggregating the results and adding everything up is to find those common areas of support. So as expected, the people that attended the workshop were very much in favor of climate action change and was willing to overlook any costs that may incur for residents and businesses. Whereas reaching out to other areas with the mobile workshops and other sectors, including the business sector, we saw that there was some less support for certain measures, in particular those that would bear any costs on residents or businesses. But the point of adding these together is to come up with community supported solutions, something that addresses everyone, represents the broad constituency. So we can learn and build on any shared commonalities between the results. We can also fine-tune some of the measures based on written comments that we receive on these individual cards or surveys, and then start assembling what the solutions are. And the idea is to complete this exercise and reach out, re-perform some outreach activities with the community, and potentially refine and ultimately finalize what those measures are going to look like as part of the action, climate action plan that we're presenting at our formal public hearing. So after aggregating the results by policy measure by sector, I'm going to cover how these are broken down, and there is a intuitive tiering that kind of occurred in looking at the results. There's clearly some measures that were supported by all participants, and there were some measures that had mixed results, and then some that were not supported or had some strong opposition. So those that were in the area of the top tier category, and this is what we would measure as primary support. This is not listed in order of preference, but it follows the same sequence that was presented in the questionnaire. This is like a sequence where the person is listed as the top priority. They should all be weighted equally in the scale. The first one is transportation reduction. This was for providing for park and ride lots at transit stations to facilitate their use. The next one is transportation for active transportation, and this is specific to walking. Developing pedestrian plan for more sidewalks, updating trails and master plan, pedestrian improvements, addressing walkable areas, crosswalks, and also addressing safe routes to school. The latter of the two, the pedestrian improvements and implementing pedestrian employment, safety received probably the highest marks of support and the least amount of opposition. There was only one registered no vote throughout all of the exercises. There was 42 collected in support. Other items that ranked high in this top tier is municipal retrofits using standard energy roadmap and implement measures in municipal facilities such as light replacement programs or more efficient ventilation systems. Another one related to energy municipal on-site renewable energy to increase the site renewable energy generation. So that's more of a municipal city asset inventory rather than citywide. Another one is to increase recycled and reclaimed gray water, adopting an ordinance to facilitate gray water systems, so pre-plumbing requirements for residential and commercial buildings. Another one is outdoor water use, provide education on pool covers to pool owners, adopt an ordinance allowing water-based irrigation systems, update landscape water conservation limits, including, for example, water budgets. Municipal water use, also in the top tier, install high-efficiency fixtures at municipal facilities. Methane capture, increase methane capture at wastewater treatment plants. And then facility improvements identify water utility efficiencies and identify and address needs. For solid waste, adopt a zero waste landfill policy. And then the group related to the trees and open space all received very high marks, similar to the pedestrian section. Maybe one or two people saying no, and the majority of people saying yes. Is to encourage conservation movements to retain vegetation and capture and store carbon as they grow, implement an ordinance requiring new development for plant shade trees, update city tree guidelines, and implement an urban forestry or citywide tree planting program. The secondary category is those areas where there was a large group of support, but there was also a smaller fraction, a minority report that said there might be some caution of how the city should go about approaching this, but it should fully be considered as part of the effort. Those include the construction equipment, encourage use of biogas or electric equipment, mandate conservation of diesel, gasoline, construction, and landscape equipment and biogas. Provide preferred parking for low-emission vehicles and parking structures. The TDM strategies for outreach and education. Identify employers to connect to vehicles or carpools through same SUV program. Implement incentivized carpools and other TDM strategies. Implement a local shuttle service system in the downtown area to reduce low occupancy vehicle trips. Implement design streets for complete streets. Implement an ordinance requiring new commercial buildings to achieve zero net energy standards. So this would accelerate the state mandate by 2030, and moving that standard to a 1-year term. Adopt policies that increase renewables and electricity beyond state mandate at 50% by 2030. This is something that will invite conversation with community choice aggregation. Promote photovoltaic in existing buildings and surface parking areas, such to reduce and waive permit fees. And then the third category of the 4 gets into the areas where there was split level support. So there's probably an equal number of people that were voting in favor of something as voting against something. Installing runabouts in different areas of the city, installing transit lanes only, increase public transit routes or route frequency. Adopt ordinance to require deployments in some retrofits to install bike racks or other support amenities. Encourage energy audits in existing homes and commercial buildings upon sale or major renovation. Policies to promote the installation of smart appliances with smart meters at homes. Require installation of solar tankless hot water heaters. Implementing a community garden ordinance. So the last bottom category are those that should be the last considered out of the group. These are the group of measures that received more opposition or strong opposition compared to those that voted in favor of it. So encouraging use of biogas or electric equipment, providing preferred parking or low emission vehicles and parking structures. Implementing an ordinance requiring energy audits. So this is different than what was included in the previous slide for the third category. So when there's a mandate, less people voted in favor of it or voted in opposition to it. Mandating installation of high efficiency fixtures at the time of sale or renovation. Implementing water rate increases. Implementing compost ordinances. So collectively, the way that the results have been aggregated, there's clearly 4 different tiers of community structure to support moving forward and identifying an approach to stitching together potential measures, and clearly starting with those that were most favored and keep working our way down until we achieve the future goal of reduction, emissions reduction. So that kind of concludes the presentation. There is going to be a report to City Council on November 28th that will be a little bit more streamlined than what was presented tonight. But the idea is to kind of further refine the results and account for a lot of the great comments. Some of the measures were loaded with multiple policy objectives in each one. Some individuals did account for reasons to support or have concerns about moving forward with some of those. So those will be addressed and incorporated in how we move forward with developing these draft measures. And at the conclusion of making that work effort complete, we will solicit additional feedback, more or less as a sounding board to make sure that we got it right, make sure that the approach does truly identify community support solutions, represents all the broad interests in all the community across all sectors. And at the conclusion of that, continue with the planning commission involvement and ultimately public hearings. So like I mentioned previously, there should be 4 more informational and meetings with the planning commission. So the planning commission will have plenty of opportunities to stay involved. So that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Does anybody? Yeah, I have 2 request to speak forms. Patricia Borkman again.
Thank you. I'm a strong advocate for climate action and update, and I attended the July 30th first public workshop, and I was impressed and look forward to the next one. I am hopeful that the outcome will generate support for community choice energy. And a lot of those specific recommendations that were submitted by the Sierra Club, by the Climate Action Alliance, and San Diego 350, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of all the groups, but anyway, I am an advocate. I'm happy here, hoping that this is an effort that you share my support for the strongest action.
Thank you. And Laura Hunter. If you state your name and address.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Laura Hunter. I live at 744 Whitehurst Farm Road in Escondido. I'm here tonight representing the conservation chair for the Sierra Club North County group. I hope you received a copy of the letter that we submitted. The Sierra Club has over 800 members in Escondido and over 14,000 members countywide. I'm sorry that I was out of town for the July 30th event, and I do appreciate the public process, and I think it's really great that it took place. However, I do ask that you include the written input in your list of submissions, because there's been a lot of letters that take a lot of time and consideration, and many of the things raised there didn't show up in the strategies that were done, and we'll talk about that in a second. I also think we missed an opportunity. We had the 2 questions, but we needed a 3rd question too. And that question should have been, how would you prioritize revenue-generating strategies or strategies that reduce costs to consumers or the ability to incentivize more sustainable options? I think you would have gotten a response out of that. Community choice energy, which Patricia mentioned, that could be a significant revenue source for the city. And I didn't really see that on there. So there are a number of strategies that I know we brought up in letters in advance. I didn't see them on the DOT exercises, and I didn't see them as part of what the input was. So I want to just focus on a few that I think are really critically important. A goal of 100% clean energy and analysis of community choice energy, just like the City of San Diego has recently adopted. Many cities have adopted a 100% clean energy goal, and they're going after it in a big way. If you've read, even the Trump administration, of all people, that administration came out with a report that this climate change is going to be devastating to our country, and that we have about till 2040 to figure it out. So if you have not read those articles, you have not looked at that report, I urge you to do so. The Escondido cap really needs to include a social equity section, and how that might apply in our cap. Examples are included in our letter. Tree canopy, I'm glad to see it was on there, but tree canopy retention needs to be also part of what we do. We had an example with the Oak Creek development. They're going to cut down 200 oak trees. Why don't we reel on the bike path, do a few things differently at that site, and retain a significant canopy that we already have, instead of allowing them to cut it down. The strong VMT reductions are very important in the master plan. Obviously, that looks like it rated high, but we support that. Another major point we made that I didn't see anywhere is that adaptation should be included, especially the prohibition on building sprawl in high fire risk areas, so that Escondido doesn't have a tragedy like they had in Paradise. That is an adaptation strategy to not put housing and development in high flood, high fire zones, and we should be doing that. We would ask that you establish a public implementation task force. And last, we want to just underscore that we recommend, and I hope this isn't going to be in our ECAP, that there should not be any effort to adopt out-of-region mitigations. The county has tried to do this, and they were sued and they lost on that. So we really hope that you will expand. I think it's great that people got to weigh in. I'm a little concerned that they think, well, residents are going to have to pay for all of this. Only depends on how you do it. And it's a more complicated question, just that, hey, do you think it's important, hey, are you ready to pay for it? I think that's overly simplistic, and so it tainted the kind of feedback that you got. What kind of programs could we have for incentives? Where you get money for the solar that you put on, and we help incentivize with audits and that kind of thing for businesses and for residents. So I would ask that you put a layer of what's effective and what we can do more education on that could be beneficial. So this is a very, very important thing. This is probably one of the most important things the city can do for the future. You know, I heard you say about Groucho Marx, you know, I don't know why I should care about future generations, what have they done for me? I hope that's not your attitude. That's not my attitude. And we really need to do right by where we're going, because we're really running out of time. So I hope we will push the envelope. We're going to have new leadership on the Escondido City Council, which I personally am very excited about. I think we want to do the most, not the least. And I'm hoping that you will help the new City Council do the most and the best. Follow the trajectory of some of the other cities in our region. They're doing it. We can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else in the audience wish to speak about anything? Okay, seeing none. Do you have any comments? I have one question. What's the status of the secondary water treatment at Ash and Washington that we approved quite a while ago? I'm waiting to see something go in there because I'm thinking about all the water pouring out in the ocean that we should be watering avocado trees.
My understanding is they've narrowed the design build applicants down to 3, I think, fairly recently. You know, so they're still in the process of selecting, you know, a design build.
Okay. But we are moving ahead with that.
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, I think we're adjourned.